Hi, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to today's live streaming webinar. My name is Bokwe Success. I'm a junior data scientist at Harmony. So I don't know if any of you can hear me loud and clear, but I believe you can hear me. So today we'll be learning about data visualization using Python. So thank you for joining this section. So before I share my screen, just give me like a few minutes to get some things ready. I share my screen. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, you can. Go on.
So briefly, I'm going to introduce you guys to what is data visualization. Data visualization is a field of data analysis that deals with visual representation of data. It is a statistical method that helps us to understand the data better than when it is in a data frame with pictures, maps, and graphs. The human mind has a better comprehension of the insight, patterns, and trends in the data set. Data
Hi.
visualization plays a major.
Sorry for cutting short. We can't see your screen yet.
Can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
So as I was saying, data visualization plays a major role in data storytelling, especially with large data sets, where the data storyteller summarizes So data visualization is a field in data analysis that deals with visual representation of data. It is a statistical method that helps us to understand the data better than when it's in a data frame. With pictures, maps, and graphs, the human mind has a better comprehension of the insights, patterns, and trends in the data set. Data visualization plays a major role in data storytelling, especially with large data sets where the data storyteller summarizes it into a very readable format for fast decision making by the teammates. It is almost impossible and strenuous to comprehend a big data for the employees of the company, but with a good data storyteller who simplifies a data through technical writing and reporting, data narratives, data visualization, data interpretation, etc. So it makes it a lot easier for employees to lead and be data friendly. So Python offers several plotting libraries, which Python offers several Python plotting libraries, which are Matplotlib, Seaborn, and many other visualization packages with different features for creating informative, customized, and appealing, easy to read plots to present data in the most simple and effective way. So guys, I don't know if you can hear me. Sorry for the So, for instance, this is a data set now. I imported necessary libraries for this visualization. So this is the data set we are supposed to visualize this particular one right now. I don't know if you can hear me. So use pd.read_csv to read your data set. So after reading it, this is what we have. This is the data set here, the 5-3 data set we have here. So when you go further, we have to check if this our data has null values. So checking if it has null values, you can see that in each column, you find out that this particular data has 0 null values. 0 null values. So when you check the D type of the data set, you're taking the D type of the data set. You want to know if it's an object or if it's an integer or maybe it's a float. So you look at this data set, you find out that all the columns are objects, and you cannot plot, you cannot be able to visualize it if they are objects. They need to be converted to float. So using this and I need to also, there are some things that can stop you from converting your columns into integer or into float, because most of these characters like comma and plus, they actually stop you from converting your columns or the values of your columns into float. Now, some of those characters are like comma, like plus, like maybe unnecessary characters, maybe like and, symbol of and all. So from here now, this function now, where my cursor is, you can see that I'm trying to use replace function to say anywhere you see comma, please replace it with nothing. Then I say regex equals to true, in place true. I'm trying to, this in place true means I want whatever effect I'm creating, it should be effected permanently on my data set. So when I scroll down, I will see that the effect has actually taken place. So some of them do not have the comma anymore. So what I will not do, I want to check all the columns. These are the columns in this data set: 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, 1995, 1996, 1997, and so on. So, and I'm trying to say, in this function, I'm trying to say phi3 equals to phi3 dot drop 50. So this 50 is an index in this data set that has plus character. It has plus character. See, this particular, see this plus character, right? It's going to really stop us from visualizing our data. So what I did is I kind of drop this index so that it will not stop us from converting the column into an integer. So after dropping it, I will check if it worked. So when I checked it, I will see that it has successfully removed the 50 rows. That 50 is like the index of that particular row. So when I see, you can see that the 50 has been removed. This method I'm using is to properly clean up the data set, so that it doesn't give me a false visualization, a false insight about my data, So when I'll not say, okay, if I say equals to column, double equivalent to plus. So what I'm trying to say here is that I want to say, okay, in all the columns, I want to confirm if there is still plus. So checking that, I can see that all the columns is just false. It means that there is no plus character. It means that the plus character has successfully been removed. So now I want to convert those objects, right, into a float. So this function now that I'm sliding like this is the function I use to convert the columns using an answer type function to convert all these columns to a float. So you can see now all our columns data type is now float, except sector category, which is object, and it's quite understandable because since it's a string. So now we have all our things converted to float. So going to visualization. Now I'll be using ps.bar, which is, I'm saying I want a data set to be part of the plot. That's file 3. Then I'll say S equals to, I'm assigning my S to be IPC3 sector category. Then I want to check the year. This IPC3 sector category represents different sources at which gas is being introduced into the environment. And this 1990 represents the year at which, the year that has highest number, at the year at which the gas emission occurred. Since our existence, gas emission occurs in different years. Do you understand? It can occur in 1990, it can occur in 1991, and not every year there must be an incident of gas emission. You understand? So in this particular data set now, I got a data set where it was recorded that a good number of years, where we were able to get a good number of years that had gas emission. You understand? So I want to check gas emission from 1992 to 2020. So I want to check gas emission from 1990 to 2020. So when you look at this particular data set now, you can say I want the color to be IPCC sector. So I want the color to carry all the different sources of gas emission. We have different ways at which gas can emit into the air. So now look at, these are the different sources. So these ones are sliding now are the different sources of gas emission. Understand? We have water treatment, at which gas can go into the air, because when you treat the water, somehow gas are being escaped from the process of water treatment into the air, and this can cause an ozone layer depletion and all, even lead production and phosphoric acid production and the rest of them. So when you look at this particular interactive visualization, you can see that we have blue, we have another color, which shows that the total gross emission sources. So this particular one shows energy. So from here, you can see that energy has the highest number of greenhouse gas emission. I don't know if you guys can hear me. So this energy carries the color blue. So from here, you can see that energy has the highest number of gas emission. When you check here, you see that fossil fuel combustion. You all will agree with me that when the process of fuel combustion emits a lot of dangerous gases into the air. So any fossil fuel combustion increases in the number of gas emission into the air. You can see that after the energy, you see gas combustion. So we go down. Let's check other visualization. So in order to, so what I did here, the next cell, try to explain that I'm trying to say by 3.group by, I'm trying to select a particular number of columns. So I want to check gas emission from 1990 to 1999. So I want to check gas emission from 1990 to 1990. So 1991 to 1990. So I want to check the gas emission that occurred so far in 1980s. So that's what I'm just trying to explain here. So when you look at this, so I just fitted my data by collecting all the 1990s columns. So I use this function to make that happen, and this is where we are. So we have data set that has only 1990s values. So when you go further, you see the visualization. You can see the trend in gas emission into the air from 1990 to 1991. You can see the trend as going. You can see it as it's going ahead. So when you get to this point, you see that at 1995, the gas emission increased, and as the year went by, it was also decreasing and going up. So all this level here shows different years, and because they're in line, you'll be able to see the. Don't worry, I'll show you other visualizations that will better explain what I'm trying to say. So this one is also gas emission in 1990. You can see the pattern and how it goes and all. And also, let's move to another notebook so that I can show you how to. So if you have any question, kindly send it to the chat so that we can attend to your question. So looking at this particular data set now, where my column is, I want to further explain visualization for you. So that's why I'm going on to this notebook. So looking at this data, CSV, the name of the data set is company.csv. So when you look at this now, you see the information concerning this particular data set. You see that all the columns they are all in float, so there's no need to convert them to float. So we have total number of 4 columns and all. So we go further, we talk about Matplotlib. Matplotlib package allows you to visualize 2D array plot in Python. To plot data, Matplotlib uses the NumPy array library. With Matplotlib, you can investigate trends, behavioral patterns, and correlation using scatter, line, bar, and histogram plots. So now scatter plots dots are used to present and observe the relationship between variables in scatter plot. To draw scatter plot, the Matplotlib library provides the scatter function method. So when you look at this now, from that data set, right, you can say S equals to data sales, Y equals to data newspaper. So plt.scatter, we call for the S and we call for the Y. We're saying that we want the color of the plot to be red. Then we're saying plt.s label, we want the title of the S label to be total sales. Then we want the title of the the Y label to be used advert. So when you click PLT dot show, it shows you the plot. So this is the plot. So this is trying to explain the company sales that came as a result of newspaper advertising. You know, there are different ways companies can advertise their goods or their products or goods and services. So they can advertise through newspaper, through radio, or through other means. So each of these videos brings different sales. They have different number of sales they come with it. So looking at newspaper advertisement, we're trying to look at the sales that came through newspaper advertisement. So looking at this stacker plot, you see the number of how uncorrelated the variables are. So let's move further. You can see, I'm trying to plot another scatter plot where we say, okay, we want to see sales that came via radio advertisement. So you can see this now, how it turned out. So once you say, okay, want to see sales that came through newspaper. Sorry, I think I've done that newspaper. So want to see sales that comes through TV. So looking at this now, you can see how correlated the variables are. Very correlated. They're very correlated. This shows an increase in sales. So when you plot all of them together by joining all the PLT, you can say PLT does scatter sales by radio, sales by TV, sales by newspaper, and I'm saying sales by radio should be blue, sales by color should be red, sales by newspaper should be gray. So looking at this now, you can see that you can see the TV on is high, and it shows that the company had higher number of sales as a result of the TV advertisement. So from here, I built a function. From here, I built a function which I'm saying I want to build a function where I can join everything together instead of doing them one by one. So I'm saying plt.plot dfs.head bracket open size, comma dfy.head size. Then I say, okay, plt.show. So I'm going to apply that function later for my bar graph. So I'm going to explain what bar graph is. So in bar graphs, you represent your categorical data. A bar chart is generally used to represent relative quantities for multiple categories. The x-axis represents the categories that are split evenly. The y-axis represents the quantity for each category and is drawn as a bar from the baseline to the appropriate level on the y-axis. A bar chart can be created by calling the bar function and passing the category names for the x-axis and the quantities for the y-axis. So now this is that same function I built up there. So I'm going to use it as I view the functions. I'm going to call the function by saying anywhere I see S, my S, I'm naming it as sales, my Y is newspaper, then my data set, which is CF data. Then I'm saying this 20 represents the size. This size is trying to say, okay, I want in all the rows of my data set, I want to pick only 20. I don't want to plot all of them. So when you run this, you see sales by newspaper in bar chart form. So you call the same function. You see sales by radio in bar chart form. You know, remember we did sales by radio, sales by newspaper in scatter plot function. In scatter plot chart. Now we're doing the bar chart. So this is it. Sales by TV. You can see the variation in the. So the same function we call here, then we call it for sales by radio. So this is how we have it here. This is sales by radio. and all. So apart from saying we want the size of 20, there are other ways to shuffle your data set variables so that you don't have, you don't plot all the data points, all the values on your data set. You can use numpy.random import seed. You can use numpy.random import roundings, to kind of specifically randomize all the values in your data and pick like 100. So that is what this particular function is trying to say. Instead of you plotting all the values, you now end up plotting very few values at all. So another way is that, okay, you can say, okay, if you don't say, okay, I want random bracket open 100, I can say, okay, I want numbers from 0 to 100, I want them, coming up in 10 digits form, 10 numbers, sorry. Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as I'm saying, S equals to data bracket, square bracket, open cells, bracket, close dot, 10. So I'm saying, okay, for my Y value, I want 10 of the values picked randomly. So that's what this particular code is trying to explain. So when you plot that, it gives you right. So that's what very much you guys check. Okay, guys, let's move over to Power BI aspect of this course. Power BI can be fixed through. So can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. Okay, moving on to the Power BI section. So Power BI, as you know, it's a business intelligence tool which can be used for visualization too. So I got this data from SQL. So now visualizing this particular data, when you click on this particular visualization, so you can see it has different sorry. Now, when you want to visualize in Power BI, when you click on this, you can see, when you look at this side where my cursor is, you see legends, you see values, you see details, you see tool things and all. So now, if you want to visualize, if you want to do this, you have to go to your field where your data is, the field section where your data is. Then you have to drag all the columns and put them in all this, either under legend or values or details, to create a visualization. So assuming if I just delete this particular, remove this particular visualization, and I decide to create another one, I'll just click on this fire chart, then it shows up. I have to expand it so that it can be So let's start our visualization. I want to know what's the correlation. So it's coming up. I want to show you the data set and what volume he had. Sorry, what's the content of data set. I'm just explain all about the data set. So see, our data has shown this is a sales table, it's a sales data set where you have all the sales of different products. So you have the manufacturing price, you have the sales price, you have the gross sales, you have the profits made so far, you have the date, you have the country ID at which different countries where the particular product is being sold out. You have different countries where these products are being manufactured and being supplied to. So the data set. And these are different countries. We have Germany, we have Canada, we have France, we have different. Let's go back to our dashboard. Let's show you how to. So at this point now, I want to see the number of the total number of production. Sorry, the total number of sales of each product in different countries. So just see. So you can see, and also always choose to put your sales where you have numerical values under the values icon. Where you have legend, you can put other categorical columns under it. So when you look at this, you can see the total number of sales by different countries. You can see the pink color represents Canada, the sky blue one represents Germany, the royal blue represents France, the burnt orange represents the United States of America, then purple represents Mexico. So looking at this now, you see the percentage of sales that are caught in different countries, different countries. So this is how you visualize the data and give like insight on what your data really talking about. Viewing your data in a data frame, you may not be able to understand what it's all about. But when you visualize it, you tell a story with the visualization and understand the visualization, you're able to have an insight of what your data is all about. So when you look at this particular visualization, which is sales by product, you can see passive product has the highest number of sales so far, followed by Montana, followed by BTP, followed by, you can see Caratera had the lowest number of sales. It has the lowest number of sales. So when you click on this particular, you see the x-axis has the product, which is here. X-axis has the product. You can see the y-axis has the sales, obviously, which runs from 5 million to 35 million. So if I want to now add my legend, I will just add country to the legend. So it's coming up. So you can see different countries. You see Casio You can see past year products had the highest number of, sorry, we had the sales of 7 million naira plus, sorry, maybe $7 million, sorry, $7 million plus. So we can have, you can see past year again. In France, this is the sales of past year in France. This is the sales of past year products in Canada. Okay, so this is the sales of past year in Germany. This is the sales of past year in Mexico. The sales of Pasio in United States of America. So when you look at this now, about Mexico and Pasio are kind of competing when it comes to sales, the total number of sales. So when you look at this particular one, when you move to Montana, you can see that Montana had highest number of sales in Germany. But if you compare to Pasio sales in Germany is quite low. But look at Montana's sales in Germany is very high. So it shows that in Germany, Montana is thriving more, is making waves. Maybe if kind of Montana product is the kind of product that most people are actually looking for. So it's high looked at for people. So if you check Montana in France, same thing. So if you check Montana in Canada, same thing. But Pasio in Canada is higher than that means in Canada, Pasio is high sorted product, while in Montana in Canada, quite slow. So from here you can see the visualization, you have a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. So I can also build more visualization by, so I'll just create a table matrix where I can other view show you how to build visualization in Power BI. So I want to build the image. And I'm trying to build visualization of different different So you can see from here, you see that Canada, Canada has the highest number of sales production, followed by Germany, followed by France, followed by America, followed by Mexico. So when you put the products, IDs in sales, so you see, okay. So you can see different products that were supplied in Canada. You can see different products that were supplied in Germany, France, and so from here you can see product 104 has the highest sales in Canada. And you can see that the box is a bit bigger. It shows that the number of sales of this product is higher than other products. Why product 102 had the lowest sales? See now, you can see. So this is about $3 million. This is $2 million. Then this is 3 million plus, and it's increasing. So from here, this is 7 million. This is, you can see product 104 had the highest number of sales in Canada. So now you see in Germany, product 103 has the highest sales in Germany compared to other products, while product 102 has the lowest number of sales, and so on and so forth. So when you increase this, to have a better view of what your decision is all about. So in Power BI, before you use more than one data set, if you're using more than one data set, you have to learn to link them up. You see, Power BI has already done that for us, because for you to work with more than one data set, you have to learn how to properly link them up for them to have a common column for you to operate with and all. So you have to link them up. This is Power BI creating a relationship amongst all those data sets using common columns of each that each data set shares together. So I don't know if you have any question. If you have any question, kindly put it on the send it as a chat. If you have any question, please. Okay. So the question you're supposed to ask me has to be a question relating to this. It has to be related, or it has to be about this particular webinar we are having. You're not allowed to ask question that is out of the context. So someone is asking, please, at the end of this session, could you quickly do an exploratory data analysis of any data set using pandas profiling? Okay. The second question is, for us that use Collab, how do we go about pandas profiling? Okay, the same person is asking the same question. So when you are, before you do, like I told you, before you do any visualization, you have to first of all do exploratory data analysis on your data, so as to make sure that you remove null values and make sure that your data is clean and will not give you false information about your data. So when you want to do pandas profiling, you are trying to, you have to describe the data, remove some, you have to also describe your data. You'd like to know the standard deviation, the mean, and sorry, let me take you guys to Python. I want to open something just to answer that question. So when you want to do pandas profiling, you have to make sure that you describe about the data. You just make a description of your data, like what the data is all about. You want to know the mean, the standard deviation, or you want to know the statistical informations about your data. And right now, we are not talking about that right now. We are dealing on visualization. And I know describing your data is one of the exploratory data analysis. Do you understand? Maybe in our next section, I will show you how to use describe function to kind of describe your data and have an information of what your data set is all about. So I don't know if I've answered your question. When you are conducting an exploratory data analysis, you have to first of all describe your data, like using a describe function. You have to know the statistical, informations about your data. You would like to know the standard deviation, the mean, and all. So that is very important, but we cannot start doing that right now. The time is of great essence, so I would appreciate if you can ask other questions. We can't really do that right now. So let me quickly, summarize what I've been saying so far. In data visualization in Python, there are different libraries you can use. You can use Matplotlib, you can use Seaborn, you can use Plotly. But in this section, basically, I was able to show you guys how to use Plotly to create innovative and interactive visualizations. So this particular visualization right now, it was built with Plotly. So you can even see that transport here had the highest number of gas emission. In all the years, transport has the highest number of gas emission into the air. So looking at this now, you can see that in all the years, actually, transport emits more gas into the air. It emits lots of gases into the air and thereby polluting the air. So we look at commercial, which is red. You see that red has, commercial somehow contributes to air pollution in our society. So you can even see waste management perhaps seems to be one of the lowest source of gas emission into the air. So I've showed you how to use Matplotlib to plot graph. Someone is asking a question, please, how can we get the data set? Then how also can we get the recorded video? So this video will be shared on YouTube. So in case if you want to view it again, we're going to put it on YouTube for you to go back and have a video of it. maybe if there's something you did not really understand, you can go and do it again and have a better understanding of what I've been saying. I know right now it will not make any sense to you, but when you take your time and in your quiet time and use it again, you'll be able to understand what I've been trying to say. So as for getting a data set, it's not possible, and I'm not sure I'm going to share data sets with any of you. So, but as for the video is made available on our page, page. So any other question? So in the absence of no question, let's call it a day. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate your presence. Thanks for coming. So see you guys next time. Thank you.